What's up, Headless Horde? Welcome back to the channel. So, Vegas, done and over. We are now just chilling here in Huntington Beach, waiting for SDCC here in just a couple days. So, I wanted to make a really quick video just talking about how to manage your schedule. You may think you have the perfect outline, you're going to hit every single thing on there, and it's going to work flawlessly. Well, it's San Diego Comic-Con. Hardly anything ever goes to plan. So I'm here to kind of go over my personal schedule and what I'm hoping to accomplish each day. But the number one thing to remember is you need to be flexible. There may be something on there you're not going to get to. You never know how long you might be in line. That is always the biggest thing that's going to drain your time is how long is this line going to take? You might think it takes a half an hour or 45 minutes. All of a sudden it's an hour and a half in, and now you have something else planned that you're not going to be able to get to. So I'm going to kind of go through mine, and we'll kind of talk a little bit about some of that stuff. One other piece of advice I can offer is make sure you are on social media. Twitter is probably the best way to go because the interaction and the notifications come up right away, and you can ask questions to these tweets or whatever. I don't know if you're going to always get a response, but basically it's the fastest way to get information that you need. So there is a Hall H Twitter account. There is a Ballroom 20 Twitter account. There's tons of people to follow on Twitter. You can follow me. I do my best to try to tweet out different things. If I see this line is shorter than normal or something is happening over here. But again, a lot of times I'm like you guys and I'm running around trying to figure things out as well. And I don't have any heads up as far as something crazy happening. But I do try to tweet as much as I can. Also, I do tweet out some giveaway stuff. So I usually have some of my pins, maybe sometimes some products that I pick up at the con that I think will be a good giveaway. So I kind of make it a hide and seek type deal where I kind of will tweet a picture of something either around the con, around Gaslamp, and if you come find me, you can win it. So I'll put my Twitter link in the description down below. Now, preview night is Wednesday. So I plan on arriving around 11:30, 12 o'clock because I want to make sure I'm there. Chances are the hotel room will not be ready. Now, my wife is also coming with me. So what will happen is I will have her probably get the room because I'll already be in line to get into the exhibit hall. Usually I line up around 3 o'clock because, there's a few reservations that were through the portal, but not all the booths will have reservations where you just got to get there, right? You just got to get down there and knock out what you want to get. Preview night is a really good way to try to get some of those exclusives that you don't have to stress out about the rest of the week. So we'll kind of go through that as well. One other piece of advice, if you are going to the Comic-Con official store, this is at the Marriott Marquis, which is next to the convention center. I will actually be doing that right at like noon. I'm not exactly sure what time they open, but I think it's right around that time. And it's a great time to go shop because number one, I don't think you really need to go line up at noon. I mean, some people definitely will, depending upon what they're trying to get. But I think 2:30, 3 o'clock, 3:30, somewhere in that range is a pretty good time to line up for preview night. It's only like a 2.5 hour wait then. And, you can kind of map out what you want to try to do that day. And, you have 2.5 hours, right, to, sit there and wait. So I usually map everything out exactly how I want to do it. All right. So first, let's talk about preview night. Now, like I mentioned, I'm going to be getting in line right around 3 p.m. after I hit up the store. And I'm going to be looking to divide and conquer with my wife on this one. So we're going to be heading down to the first two booths, and the first one will be Hasbro, and then I'll probably head over to Throwjoy. So those are going to be the first two that we're going to hit. Now, not having any idea of how long those are going to take, I'm basically chalking those in for the first hour. So that would take me from approximately 5:30-ish till right around 6:30, 6:45. Again, it all depends upon how long the lines are, how quickly we can get down there, how many people are in front of me while I'm waiting. But that's kind of what I'm doing here. Is I'm kind of chalking in about an hour and 15 minutes. Again, it could easily be 2 hours. You just never know until you actually get there. But Throwjoy and Hasbro, again, we will kind of divide and conquer those two, pick up what we need. The next thing on the list then would be Yesterday's. Now, Yesterday's, if you don't know, is a collectible pin company, and they also have other exclusives as well, but they really are known for their pins. So I'm going to send my wife to Yesterday's to pick up their exclusive. They have a 10-year anniversary pin box, and it kind of comes with some real exclusive pins, and they're really known for their SDCC heart pins. And there is also an exclusive pin that is like that as well. And so she's going to kind of pick up the items over there. Now, after Throwjoy, my next goal is going to be to go over to Rokimoto, and that is Mike Becker's new exclusives and his new figures. So I'm going to check out his booth, and really then at this point we've hit 4 of the big booths that we had no chance at as far as the lottery. So I'm figuring on this is going to take probably over 2 hours to knock out those 4 booths. Again, as we divide and conquer this. After that, I'm going to head over to Roosevelt's. They have an exclusive Star Wars button-down shirt that I would like to pick up. It's only exclusive to Wednesday. Now, I may have to head over there before Rokimoto, which is one thing I'm trying to figure out right now. And because I don't know how many of these shirts they have, available, and if I'm going to spend the time in that line, because that line can get awfully long, I might do that beforehand. And then Rokimoto would probably be my last stop for preview night. Again, you just never know how long the lines are. So I usually have 3 booths that I try to get to. And if I get all 3 and there's extra time, great. Then I can walk around, or I can actually, check something else out. After Yesterday's for my wife, there's a couple other smaller booths that I'll send her to, and then we'll end up meeting back up and probably heading back to the hotel right around 9 o'clock. And that's what time preview night ends. Now, we have the Headless Horde Hangout on Wednesday, and that starts at 9:15. So I'm going to have to haul to get back out there so I can get things set up and get all that all ready for all of the guests that are coming. All right, so Thursday, I have the Funko booth first thing in the morning at 10 a.m. Now, I really want to grab some of those limited pieces. I'm probably going to go jump into the anything else line probably around 5:30 in the morning. And the reason why I want to get there that early is because I don't want to spend all day in the Funko line because it does take forever. So if I can be one of the first, 100 people or so in that line, I think it would make the day go much smoother because we do have a lot planned. So as I'm waiting in line for several hours to get into the convention center, I'm going to have my wife arrive around 8 o'clock or so, maybe a little earlier, and I'm going to have her get in the line for room 6BCF, which will be the Funko panel. Now, if Funko doesn't start selling at the booth right at 9:30, I think there's no chance that I'll make that panel. But if we can get in that line at 9:30 and they start letting us through, there's a decent chance at that early of arrival for me that I should be able to be one of the first, 50 to 100 people in that line so I can try to get up to the panel. Chances are, if I can't get up there for that panel, at least she's in there to be able to watch it and grab whatever they're giving away, and I'll just kind of walk the floor and jump in a different line or something like that. So after the Funko panel and the booth are done, the next thing on our agenda is going to be the Mattel booth that my wife actually ended up winning through the lottery. So that is at 11:30, and the Funko panel probably will end right around 11:15, 11:30. So we kind of got a haul button down there to get in that line. And then at noon, she also won. Like, listen, we won 3 things together. We have won, I think 2 times in the last like 6 years of them doing this lottery. So it's kind of crazy that we finally actually got a little bit lucky this year. Now, after the Mattel booth at noon, so we don't have a ton of time here. And what we're going for here is we have the booth for Star Wars Unlimited, which is like the card game. And I think that's over what the Star Wars Fig Pen is too. So I don't know if it's together. I don't know if they're separate, but I know that's kind of all in that same area over by the Lucasfilm. So that's the next thing that we need to hit up. After that, we have a little bit of a break, which is nice. I have a couple pre-orders. I have one from Cryptozoic, so I'll probably head over there and grab that while I have the extra time. I'll probably check out some of the booths in that area because that is over at booth 115, and a lot of that is like some of the the local exhibitors and that kind of stuff where the retailers and they're just kind of selling wherever they have their products, and so I always like to look around there a little bit just to see if you can find a deal. I know one Funko Pop that I need to be looking for at this con is a Oz Funko Pop from Buffy the Vampire Slayer because Seth Green is going to New York Comic Con, and I have most of the autographs from that series, so that's one I'm missing. So I know that's one Funko Pop that I would definitely be looking for, and obviously I need it to be as mint as possible because it is for an autograph. So if you happen to run into an Oz Funko Pop at the San Diego Comic Con, hit me up on Twitter or Instagram and let me know because I need to grab that. The other Funko Pop I'm going to be looking for there is, I believe it is a Star Wars Celebration Funko Pop back from 2018, I believe. And it is the Darth Maul from the Phantom Menace. And because I know Ray Park is going to be there, so I'm going to have to try to figure out when he's actually doing his signing. And I'll be tweeting out that information over on Twitter when I actually find all that information out, because I know chances are you're going to have to probably go down and get a ticket for that. And then you kind of come back at the signing. Again, that's typically how those work. It could just be you line up when he's there, and it'll be chaos. But I do need to pick up that Funko Pop. If I don't find it on Wednesday, probably on Thursday, because he's signing on Friday and Saturday. So again, if you happen to find that pop hanging around there at the convention, let me know. After all that, if we have time, we'll grab a quick bite to eat at one of the restaurants around the area. We don't really typically eat in the convention center because I just think it's overpriced food and it's not that great. I would rather be able to go sit down for 45 minutes or whatever and just grab a beer, have some food, and just chill for a second. And then the next thing up on Thursday for us, as far as actually around the convention center, is we have the Shutter Experience, which is that cornfield maze. And those actually went up today. And I struck out, but my wife was quicker than me, and she actually grabbed a pair. So that, I think, is at 4:30 p.m. And then after that, we are actually pretty much well situated for the evening because we then have the little pop-up comedy club that Kevin Smith's going to be doing, and we're going to be attending that at 7 p.m. So we'll probably get in that line for about 6 or so. And then that's pretty much the evening. After the Kevin Smith experience, we'll probably just be hanging out in Gaslamp. Maybe I'll do a giveaway, see if you guys can come find me. And that'll take us right into Friday. So Friday, I definitely am not going to be planning on getting there as early. I'll probably still get in line probably about 6:30. So, about an hour later than Thursday. And the goal here would be to just go to one of the booths that I have not been to yet at this point. Maybe jump in Hasbro again, depending upon if we got everything we wanted on preview night. Same thing. Maybe Throwjoy again if for something sold out and we weren't unable to get it, possibly yesterday's. I also want to head down and check out how the 100% soft booth is working, because I know last year, I don't think they were in the lottery. I don't remember them being in it. Maybe they were, but I know I still picked up those dumpster fires. So I'm going to head over to that booth and I want to kind of see how that's going. And are they giving tickets out for later in the day? But that's kind of the morning situation. And then at 11:30, I need to jump in line for an autograph signing with Osgood Perkins, who was one of the directors of the movie The Monkey. Now, they had a pre-sale on a bloody variant of this figure, and if you pre-purchase that, you pick it up at the booth, and then Osgood Perkins will be there, and he will be autographing them for free. So I thought that was a pretty cool experience. So we're going to go ahead and do that. And then at 12 o'clock, I have 2 autograph sessions, and these are with voice actors from the original Transformers the series, the old cartoon, 80s cartoon. And the two voice actors, they voiced Shockwave and also Starscream. So I actually had my neighbor, he actually, and I appreciate it, Bob, thank you. And he actually went into my house and shipped me my two Funko Pops that I wanted to get autographed, so I don't have to like repurchase the pops. And then he sent them off to San Diego for me, so they'll be there when I check in. So I appreciate that help. After that, we need to hightail it because we have the Brawl Stars, and so I'm curious. I think this one looks pretty good, so we shall see. But then at 4:30, I'm going to head over to the hotel where the Thrilljoy party is happening, and this venue is all outside. So I'm going to probably get over there, probably like 4 to 5. I think the event opens at 6, and then the actual, the whole party or whatever you want to call it, I believe it starts at either 7 or 8. I know they had a live on Instagram, about a week ago or so, kind of talking a little bit about this. And it seems like they're setting it up almost like a giant Dave and Buster's type party where you have to earn tickets, and you take those tickets and you can go get different products and that kind of stuff. So I think it'll be interesting to see how that whole thing is run. And then after that, that closes out our Friday. Now Saturday, I want to check out a panel at 11:15, and this is the Toys That Made Us. This third season is coming out, so they're going to be doing a little preview on that. It's a great series. If you were a collector in the 80s and 90s, I mean, it's it's a really, really cool show if you've never seen it, and it's on Netflix. But before that, I'm probably going to get in line about the same time as Friday, which was about 6:30, and I would jump in the everything else line, and we're going to basically again head down to one of the booths that we have been unable to get to. Rokimoto. Again, it just depends what we've already got, right? So I don't really know what booths will be Saturday. And it's funny too because sometimes you'll just hear something like, "Oh man, I didn't even know about that." So Saturday is a good day to do that kind of stuff because Saturday is one of the busiest days, right? Holidays will be probably pretty busy all day long, and it's a good day to kind of get to the floor and do the things that you think that may not be as crazy busy because most people are going to be going to those big booths, right? So I try to go to some of the smaller booths that I want to go to pick something up that maybe I have missed. And then, like I said, 11:15 is the panel for the Toys That Made Us. At 12:30, we have the activation over at the Hard Rock for the Spider-Man experience. I really have no idea what this even is. I just saw the tickets go up and we both grabbed one. So I guess we'll check it out. And then today is the day where I'm going to have to get my Ray Park autograph. I don't think I'm going to have time on Friday. So Saturday is going to be the day that I try to get that autograph. And again, I'll figure out how that's all going to work probably on Thursday. I'll head over to the booth. I'll kind of talk to them and say, how is this all going to work? What time is it? So I have Ray Park scheduled in right after Spider-Man, which is probably going to be between like 1 and like 3, I'm hoping. Again, I don't know because there's no times posted, but that's kind of where I'm fitting that in. Again, this is where I said at the beginning of the video, you got to be flexible because there may be something. Maybe I can't get to the 12:30 activation for Spider-Man, and that is just something maybe I'll do a giveaway on Twitter if I can't make it. I usually try not to eat the tickets. I usually at least try to give them away or something. So that's what I'm saying. Follow me on Twitter because you never know if something falls through. After we get the Ray Park autograph, I have scheduled in the Voodoo Ranger pirate ship, and again, it just all kind of is based on where we are. But I have that somewhere between like 2 and 3. Who knows, right? I mean, you just never know. It's hard. But I have that kind of scheduled on there. And then we have the Rokimoto, the Dream offsite, or not offsite, but party. And that is going to be over at a different hotel. So I'm going to head over there, kind of like I did for Thrilljoy. I'm going to head over about 4:30 and jump in that line. And then that will take us through the end of that evening. On Sunday, then. So this is where it gets tricky because I'll be at the Rokimoto party when the George Lucas Hall H bands are going up and people can get in line and get those. So I think what I'm going to do is either see how the party is going and maybe leave a little early, or just get over there after the party's over and see if they are still handing out wristbands for George Lucas's panel. If they are not handing them out, chances are I probably won't get in. I will probably show up still in the Hall H line at some point in the morning because I don't really need to go any booths. My wife will probably go down and do something in one of the booths because she has another thing she has to do during the George Lucas panel. So I would be in there probably by myself if I can manage to get in. But I don't know. It's tricky. I don't know how that's going to work out. It's unfortunate that they always do that stuff at night because, like, there's parties, there's things to do, and 7:30. Yeah, it's after the convention centers close, which I completely understand. It makes sense. People can leave and go get in that line, but that line does take a while. So we'll see what happens after the Rokimoto party, and I'll go over there and see if I can get in. And if not, I'll wait in the morning and just see what happens. At 1 p.m., I have an autograph session over at $7 a pop with Mike Becker. He's doing autographs on exclusive posters and his different Rokimoto figures. So that was a $25 donation for a charity. And so Mike will be at that booth going ahead and doing autographs. I think they sold 45 of them. And so I'm not sure how long that'll take. I'm kind of assuming it's going to take over an hour because I know what Mike likes to he'll talk to you a little bit. I know you can do some selfies, so I know it'll take a while. At 2:45, I need to go jump and get in line for the lodge offsite, and the lodge offsite begins at 3, so I'm gonna get there a little early. And then after that, we'll probably head back to the convention center for about an hour or so and just kind of walk around, see if there's any last minute deals. Remember, on Sunday, the convention center does close at 5 p.m. And then after that, we'll head over probably about 4:30, 4:45. I don't think it'll fill. It may, but it is a panel with Buffy the Vampire Slayer where they're showing the musical episode Once More with Feeling. And it's a great episode, and I think it'll be a fun way to kind of close out the con. And then after that on Sunday, basically the con will be over, and we'll probably finally be able to have a sit-down nice dinner somewhere. And then we do have a couple of tickets. It's kind of late, though. We're not sure if we're going to go. I think it's like a 10 or 10:30 at one of those little tiki bar setups. I can't remember, honestly, where it is. My wife ended up getting them. So we might go try and just, grab a drink, see what it's like. And that'll kind of close out our con. So we have a ton scheduled. I mean, it's literally seems like every single day it's stacked. And like I said, I mean, sometimes you can't make it to everything. And that's the thing you got to be willing to, kind of negotiate with yourself. If I can do this, I'm okay giving up this. So listen, guys, have a great time. Come find me on Twitter. I'll be doing the giveaways. I hope to see you guys. If you see me, come say hi. Guys, we're only like 2 days away. So, all right, thanks for watching this video. Don't forget to keep those heads on, and I'll see you guys at San Diego Comic-Con.